Hi guys, I'm Aradhana and I'm back today to talk to you about the digital SAT. With all the COVID related restrictions, the College Board decided to come up with a digital version of the SAT and make it all and better to serve our current needs. So let's find out what's changing and what's not. What's not changing is the fact that it is still going to measure content and skills that will assess your college readiness. It will assess what you've learned in high school. It will still be on a 1600 scale. It will have a ton of free practice material, even for the new digital SAT. You will still be able to apply for scholarships using the new SAT. And most importantly, it will still be administered in a school or in a test center with a proctor, not at home. So, what's changing then? The most important change is that the test is shorter. It's 2 hours instead of 3. The reading passages are shorter with one question attached to each reading passage. The test now is going to be taken on your laptop or a tablet. And don't worry if you don't have your own device, the testing center will give you a device. Then there's a graphing calculator which is going to be built into the testing app, or you can build your own. So instead of just having one section where you could use your calculator, the entire math section will allow you to use your calculator. And then this test is going to be far more secure. Each student will have their own version of the test, which will be unique to them. And it's going to be a lot more flexible because it's digital. So maybe you will be able to take the test at multiple times in the day. It won't be very rigid. There may be more time slots. So a lot of good changes. Let's find out about the other really big good change which is going to help you. The most important change is that it's moving from a linear testing model to an adaptive testing model. In an adaptive testing model, the difficulty level of the questions changes basis the response of the individual. Very simply put, if you answer questions correctly, the next set of questions are more difficult. If you get them wrong, then the next set of questions are easier. The engine adapts to your performance and your achievement on that particular day. So the score is far more accurate and representative of your learning ability. There are two types of adaptive testing engines. One is an individual question adaptive engine, and one is a modular one. In the modular one, the first set of questions will be a mix of easy, medium, and hard. Depending on your performance in this first module, the next module or set of questions will have a targeted set of questions basis your performance on the former. With the longer passages becoming shorter, students will have to become more cryptic readers, will have to build stronger opinions rather than just being passive receivers of data. In a longer passage which had many questions, you could rely on information given in previous questions to answer subsequent questions. In shorter passages, which with only one question attached to each passage, the content being tested, the grammar, the sentence structure, the meaning will have to be extremely specific. Use of the graphing calculator. You have to learn how to use the graphing calculator effectively to manage speed and accuracy, as well as know when to use it and when to do it manually. With the introduction of the negative character, you'll have to learn how to use those in student produced responses as well as gridins, which is something that students may not have been comfortable with earlier. The good news is that for international students as well, now you have 7 administrations versus 5. So you have 7 opportunities in the year to plan when you want to take the test. The shorter version also means that in that same time frame, the test score that you will get will be as accurate as it was in a longer duration of the test. So it will avoid the performance lag that comes when you're taking longer duration tests. Of course, with the shorter reading passages, far more varied content will also be assessed because college does require you to have a vast knowledge of multiple topics. And finally, it's not very easy to take an online test. Several of us are comfortable using paper pencil or using exam booklets because you can keep going back and forth, mark questions that you left out, mark questions you were unsure of, and work out on the paper itself as your scratch paper. Now with an online exam, it'll be difficult to keep scrolling back to know which ones you left or which ones you want to go back and double check using your scratch paper, going to the screen. So it's going to require time and practice. It's not insurmountable at all by any stretch of the imagination. And as is with life, it's always a mixed bag. Some positives and some not so positives, but you'll be just fine. Go out there and do your best. All the very, very best, students. Until next time.